Hi everyone, welcome to another Ready to Ride Pilates horse rider session where we are going to work on your upper body today. So let us get started, and I would like you to think of that nice light head, relaxed and open shoulders, relaxing your arms down through into your fingertips. Make sure you're breathing into the base of your lungs. And be aware of those imaginary ropes that run from your ribs down to your pelvis. Check your headlights are pointing straight ahead and your pelvic floor is up onto floor 3. Soften through your knees and then make sure you've got equal weight through both of your feet. Then we're going to start with your neck. You're going to do a little chin tuck. Keep that chin tuck as you turn your head to one side, and keep the tuck as you turn your head to the other side. So keeping the chin tucked in all the way through, and that means that you won't be able to turn quite so far. If you can find yourself looking over each shoulder, that means you've lost some of that tuck. So keep that tuck in, look straight ahead, don't be tempted to go down or up, straight ahead into that tuck. And then we'll face the front, we're going to do your bow and arrow. So, one foot in front of the other, arms up in front, headlights forwards, knees over your second and third toes. Draw one hand to your shoulder and turn back. Face the front and the same the other way, so hand back and turn. So you're turning your head as well as your upper body, so you can really look over, so you're opening out through your spine as well as through your shoulders. Keep your headlights nicely to the front and that equal weight through your feet. Okie doke. Let's go to the end of your mat now, and I'd like you with your feet together, your knees soft, hands on the front of your thighs, chin onto your chest, and slide your hands down, curling up through your spine as tightly as you can. Pause at the bottom for a breath in. Breathe out, slide your hands back up, tuck down with your pelvis, and uncurl right up through to the very top of your neck. And again, chin into your chest. This time try to feel that you're moving every single vertebrae, one at a time, through your neck, between your shoulders, middle of your back, low back and pelvis last of all. Then a nice breath in, and as you breathe out, down onto your mat, and we're starting off on your front, and we're going to be doing your breaststroke. You've got a few different options for doing your breaststroke. For you at home, I'd like you to do this looking down. I'm just going to look to you so you can hear me a little bit better. So I'd like you, your first version is with your arms by your side, drawing your shoulder blades back and down so the front of your shoulders are away from your mat. Tummy away from that imaginary puddle of water, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and you're going to float your hands, reach for your toes, and then lift through your head and neck, and then slowly back down. When you do that little lift through your head and neck, watch that your head and neck stay straight, and you aren't tempted to look up and sink down through your tummy. If you want to make it a little bit harder, headrest out the way, hands underneath your head, still with your tummy away from the puddle of water, and your pelvic floor onto floor 3, and you're lifting your arms, head and neck together in this position. If you find that in doing this you start to sink down through your tummy, go back to doing the previous version. It just means you're not quite ready to give it a go just yet. If you find that's a little bit easy, we can add in the arms. So you're going to lift and hold as you take your arms around into an imaginary breaststroke swimming motion. Once again, always keeping your tummy away from the puddle of water, pelvic floor onto floor 3. Watch that your breathing is staying regular as well. So you're not holding your breath or taking your breath in as you go into that lift. We'll do one more. And then rest your arms back underneath you. Okay, we're going to move on to your hundreds. And I'd like you to start with your arms out to the side. Once again, shoulder blades back and down so the front of your shoulders are away from the floor, really using the muscles around your shoulder blades. Tummy again away from the puddle of water, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and then you're going to pat those imaginary puddles of water out to the side. And then if you can, bring your arms down by your sides and then back up out to the side. all the time moving through your shoulders, watching that you don't just move from your hands or your wrists. So shoulder blades stay back and down. Tap the floor with your middle index finger to make sure that both arms touch the floor at the same time, so you're not moving one arm more than the other. Remember, the upper limb symmetry, making sure that our contact is the same, is just so important. So the more you work on it now, the easier it will be in the saddle. We're going to go back out one more time, shoulder blades staying back and down, and now we're going to turn onto your side, and we're going to do your side bend. So I would like you into your capital L position, so that straight line from shoulders, hips to knees, knees bent to 90 degrees. Top arm onto your top side. If you are getting rid of shoulder discomfort on this one, you can do this flat, you just obviously can't get the lifting in quite the same way. So pelvic floor onto floor 3 and into that nice lift, and slowly back down. We're looking for that synchronisation of lift of pelvis and arm, on the way up and on the way down, watching you don't land with a plop. Keep the pelvic floor onto floor 3, keep your breathing nice and regular. If you want to make it a little bit harder, we can lift that top leg. So into that lift and slowly back down. Keeping the pelvic floor onto floor 3. Keeping the breathing really regular, watching you don't take a breath in as you go up into that lift. I hope that the changing sun isn't being too distracting today. If you want to make it harder still, then we're going to add in that leg. So now you've got synchronising arm, leg and the lift, keeping the breathing regular, keeping the pelvic floor going, and that arm you're resting on if you're in the propped up position is now working super duper hard to keep you really controlled. Do 2 more of this one, last one, and then we're going to pop onto your back, and we're going to start with your shoulder bridge, or do your shoulder bridge. So slide your headrest out of the way and arms onto the floor beside you. Knees approximately hip width apart, neutral tummy position, pelvic floor onto floor 3, then roll backwards so you imprint your low back, and then you're peeling up 1 vertebra at a time. At the top, make sure you can breathe nice and relaxed, and then come back down, each vertebra in turn, head for your imprint, and then to neutral. So again, pelvic floor imprint, peel up, really focus on that individual vertebra movements. Relax breathing at the top, and then coming down every vertebrae once again in turn through your imprint to neutral. We're now going to bring your hands up above your shoulders. Try to keep them approximately shoulder width apart and your hands soft and relaxed. Pelvic floor onto floor 3, imprint, heel up, again relax breathing, and come back down through your imprint to neutral. I slightly hope that my hands are okay because I've slightly got the sun in my eyes. Unusual problem here in England. So your real key here now is making sure that those hands are staying absolutely still, even though the rest of your body is on the move. Looking for that independent contact. Okay, we're going to stay at the top for this one, keeping those hands as they are, so soft and relaxed over your shoulders. We're going to add in your hip dips, so keep your pelvic floor onto floor 3, and you're dipping one side of your pelvis back up, and then dipping the other side, and back up. So you're alternating which side of your pelvis you dip. Try to keep your knees staying hip width apart, and keep those hands still over your shoulders and really soft. So now your pelvis is not only suspended in midair, but it's also moving from side to side. You still want those hands to be really soft and steady. So just the same as you would in the saddle, it doesn't matter what your lower body is doing, that contact, that hand position remains the same unless you want it to change. Then do one more dip each way. Then bring your hands down and bring your bridge back down through every vertebrae, imprint and to neutral. We're going to spin around and do the side that you haven't already been on. And so we're going to do your side bend, legs into the capital L position, propped up onto that forearm if you're comfortable. And I often find that some people are can do it on one side but not on the other because they've got shoulder pain. So if that's you, that's absolutely fine. Top arm onto your top side, pelvic floor onto floor 3. And we're synchronising that lift and lower. So synchronise the lift and the lower so there's no plopping on the way back down. Keep the pelvic floor onto floor 3, keep your breathing regular. Watch that you don't take a breath in as you go up into that lift. Okay, we're going to make it harder, lifting that top leg. Again, keep that breathing really regular. If it helps, talk to yourself, sing to yourself, mutter away. And then we're going to add in the top leg as well, straightening at the same time as you straighten your top arm, or take your top arm over your head. So now we've got arm, leg and pelvis moving together, pelvic floor staying onto floor 3, breathing, staying regular. And watch you don't take that breath in as you go up into the lift. And of course, if you find you start to get really tired, you are allowed to stop. You don't have to keep going. Last one. Super job. Okay, we're going to come up into sitting and we're going to do your leg pull from this position. And for this, you want to have your legs straight and your hands out behind you with your fingers pointing away. You can do it fingers the other way, but it's just a bit more awkward. And the further behind you your hands are, the easier this exercise is to do. So once again, pelvic floor onto floor 3, then open your hips like a hinge and slowly back down. So it's pelvic floor into that lift, slowly back down. And this time we really are thinking of it as a hip opening movement rather than the segmental spine like with the shoulder bridge. If you want to stay up and make it a little bit harder, then you can do a few leg lifts. So trying to keep your pelvis level, headlights level, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and watch that your breathing is staying regular as you do it. This is only if your shoulders are really up to it, but if they are, it's a good challenge to do. So headlights stay level, pelvic floor onto floor 3, regular breathing. We'll do one more with each leg. Super job. Okay, then close that hinge, and now we're going to go onto your hands and knees. And we're going to do a lovely exercise which is just great for combining upper body and arm mobility and strength. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And we're taking one arm up, so you look at your hand, come back down and through, threading the needle through that gap, and hand back down in the other way. So turn up, look at your hand, come back through to thread the needle. So we're alternating which arm we use. Take it up as far as you can. Looking at your hand means that you really maximise the trunk rotation, but it also means that you really take your shoulder as open as you possibly can as well. And that then means that you're really using all those muscles around your shoulders to the maximum, which is what we're trying to achieve really. So we do one more with each arm. And then we're going to stay on your hands and knees, and we're going to do your leg pull. So hands a little bit in front of your shoulders, tuck your toes underneath your feet, pelvic floor onto floor 3, lift your knees just off the mat, so a couple of inches is fine, and slowly back down. So it's pelvic floor, lift, slowly back down. Try to keep your back fairly still, so that movement is coming through your legs rather than anywhere else. Again, watch that the breathing doesn't start to change, that you don't start to take breaths in, hold your breath, so on and so forth. If you want to stay doing that, that is fine. If you can take a little bit more load through your shoulders and upper body, hands a little bit further in front. Again, pelvic floor lift, but this time you're pushing forward, so you're in that plank position from straight line, shoulders, hips, knees, toes, back over and down. So it's pelvic floor lift, over into the plank, back over and down. And you will notice that we're not staying in the plank position. I do want you to try and really get that straight line, shoulders, hips, knees, toes. Please ignore my wonky shoulder blades if they're doing something funny. But it's more about the quality of your control in and out of that position. And also, can you tell your body accurately where you want it to end up. It's no different to when you're schooling your horse. You don't need to stay in that position. It's how you get there, how you get back, and the quality when you're there. Last one. Super job. Bring your hands up towards your knees. You're going to come up into standing. And I'd like you just to have a little walk on the spot and loosen off through your shoulders. And then we're going to have a bit of a stretch out just to make sure that nothing's got tight doing that exercise. So you're going to take your hands together, turn them over and push forwards and away for a good big stretch. And then reach up to the ceiling for another good big stretch. And come back down. Hopefully my hands aren't disappearing from the top of the screen. Push forwards, good big stretch. And up for another good big stretch. And down. I'm going to do one last one. Good big push forwards. And up, nice big stretch. Bring your hands back down by your side. Check that your feet are back underneath you, nice equal weight through both sides. Soft knees. Headlights to the front. Shoulder blades back and down, so you open out through the front of your chest. And try to feel that you grow an extra inch. And we're going to leave it there. So, short and sweet, good variety of exercises, loading your arms but also taking them through quite big ranges. Good variety of exercises. I hope you found it useful. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.